It's elections.
It is. It is elections, and doesn't it make you feel weird? I don't know. Weird is the right word. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like, wow.
So I'm going to ask you this question, and I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you on blast because you are older than me, but I don't remember such tension around elections for my whole life. And I can't figure out if that's because there wasn't that much tension or if it was because I was a child.
Exactly. That's the question. But I've talked to people too, and I can remember bits and pieces of like Ronald Reagan and some of the campaigning and some of that, and then move on from there. I feel like over the past 4 elections, it's gotten incrementally more divisive.
Yeah.
And more hatred and more, mudslinging and all that.
Which are the last 4 that I could vote in. So that
makes sense. That makes sense. So you're probably like, was it always this way?
This is awful.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There were even a little more closely drawn alignment on issues way back.
Yep.
Even with Democrat, Republican, on moral issues and things. Man, it just, there's a whole lot of division.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of division. And this is yet once again, one of those elections that brings emotion to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the election 4 years ago, I still think that people were moving into that election undecided, where the minute the candidates were chosen, there hardly was any kind of primary. Right. It was just like, these are your candidates, and everybody made a choice right then. So most everybody's decided. And I think there's a few more around this election that are trying to decide whether to vote at all, which I was encouraging yesterday. You should vote.
Yeah.
I think that's part of us having a voice. It's part of us really, really, saying something, regardless of the candidates, saying something about what do we truly, truly, truly believe, and what do we want to see happen, in the best way possible. Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what I'm seeing. A lot of no vote, but everybody's decided. It's like these commercials that have been going on forever that you love, I know.
Yeah. Every time I see them. Here we go again.
I don't know what good they're doing because everybody's already decided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, man, I think they will be, I don't think we'll see many more of those after 8:00 tonight. I don't know. They say it's going to go
tomorrow.
I think I don't even know if we're going to get, do you think we'll get final results? I don't know.
Oh, I doubt it. I think everybody, here's a true sound piece of advice. I think we should all spend the day outside and not even turn off the TV, because there's no way we have a final decision, I don't think, by the time we're needing to go to bed tomorrow.
Why, why are you saying go outside? I'll put you on the spot. It's an easy answer for you, but
for me, easy answer.
Oh man, you love being outside, man.
Yes, but I think that something happens when we can see the sky, and it like night or day, I don't think it matters, but I think when we can see openness above us, I think that kind of just casts our minds more quickly to the Lord.
I think that's great.
Instead of like drop ceiling,
Even if during the day you start to feel the tension, or you start to look at something that came up on your news feed and it's blue and it's red, it's like whatever, man, you're like, oh man, go take a walk outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just it wouldn't be a bad thing for many, many people to pray.
Nope.
This whole day.
And hopefully everybody's in the practice of prayer walking, because we did that through the whole month of October.
I think that was awesome.
Church.
By the way, the church did a whole lot of prayer walks. A whole lot of people I know got involved in those prayer walk groups, signed up for it, walked around neighborhoods, walked around the church, walked around all kinds of different places.
Yeah.
I think that was such a really great idea. I can't wait till we do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a powerful thing, but that doesn't mean we can't. I mean, obviously you could go with somebody, but even if you just had 15-minute coffee break, you take your coffee, go to the machine, grab it, go outside, go for a prayer walk, and just say, God, we're just praying for this, you know?
Yeah.
Last night, we have a ministry here called Prayer Works,
Yeah.
as you know, and that's at 6:30, and we had 35 or so people show up to pray about the elections for a whole hour straight, man. Just pray, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And people taking time out of their evening when they normally wouldn't, and they come out and they do this, and it was really, really great. I think that's a great thing to do.
That's awesome.
You know, because that says more than any other tangible thing that I can think of that we actually do to demonstrate our trust.
Yeah.
Is pray.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think that is for us as believers, as the church with a capital C as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So not just Christ community, but
the all church.
Entire church.
Believers.
Do we truly believe that God is in control of what is going on? Do we believe that he is sovereign? Do we believe that he has the best interests of his people in mind? And if the answer to those questions is yes, which it should be, then we're okay. Yeah. And whatever happens.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and people are not going to feel okay. Right. But when you really step back and look at it, yeah, it's like it is 100% we are okay. And do you remember yesterday, I read a passage that talked about praising the Lord. But why should we praise the Lord? It says in chapter 33 of Psalms, verses 4 and 5. For the word of the Lord holds true, and we can trust everything he does.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
Yep. He
loves whatever is just and good. The unfailing love of the Lord fills the earth. I mean, I literally looked at those two passages and said, I have not ever memorized those two.
Yeah.
They're kind of in an obscure place in the Bible, in a psalm that most people, as 33 is not the psalm that most people go to, right? But it is amazing if you read all of Psalm 33. I think everybody should do that today.
That's a great idea.
Seriously, read Psalm 33.
Or put it on audio as you're prayer walking.
Hey, that's a great idea even. You know what I mean? And we were reading verses last night in Isaiah, Daniel, even Mary's song, incorporated the fact that God raises up rulers and he takes down rulers, and he raises up rulers and he takes down rulers. Yeah. And that's just a cyclical thing that happens all over the earth.
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah. Has been happening for all of history.
But I think I'm going to commit those to memory. Verses 4 and 5, because for the word of the Lord holds true, and we can trust everything he does. That automatically gets me into a different mindset.
Right.
He loves whatever is just and good. We always say the word fair.
Yeah.
He loves whatever is fair.
Yeah.
And the unfailing love of the Lord fills the earth. So every crevice of this earth has an element of God's love in it, including us, including inside of us. Those are amazing things. And I think that when we start to trust God in that way, we're in a good place. You know, it really is.
Yeah. And I think as a result of that trust and flowing out from that trust, we as believers can lead by example, right?
Yes. Great
among
point.
Our peers and in our country, regardless of the results, whether it's what you wanted to have happen or what you did not want to have happen, or you didn't really know what you wanted to have happen, and so you're not really sure how you feel about what did happen. Regardless, we can lead by example because we have the security of knowing, this is not my home, you know, but heaven is our home. We live here, but heaven is ultimately our home. And so what's going on here, it doesn't have eternal significance. And I think that's really important to remember, because sometimes it feels like it might.
Sometimes it does.
But it doesn't.
Because in 4 years, there's going to be somebody else. And, you know, it's a funny thing. You do mention that we do have a responsibility to respond well. There was another class right after second service that was going on at the church that I was involved in. A Let's Do This class that has to do with more evangelism and things like that. And one of the assignments that the person teaching was like, everybody write down a question you know you're going to get asked. So I wrote down a question, and I wrote it down this way.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about the elections? Because nobody's going to come right out and say, who'd you vote for and did they win?
Right.
Okay, everybody has a lot more respect than that. But how'd you feel about the elections? Loaded question, right?
Yeah.
And I pointed back to a couple of those verses that I mentioned to you that they're like, the Lord sets it up and the Lord takes it down. And I am in a posture where I just want to trust God in all this.
Yeah.
And that's a great response, even for anybody who's a believer or non-believer,
right?
To say to them, to say that there's something higher going on. So it's an exercise for all of us to think through, just to say, what is going to be my response? Because you're right, man. We have a responsibility to show love.
Yeah.
And when we show love to one another and we show love to people, regardless of what we believe, there's something that of this natural wall that has been built over whatever, because you work with them every day or something like that.
Right.
Just to say, hey, I love you anyway, man. We're good even if we disagree.
Yeah.
It is what it is, because I'm trusting the Lord. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think too, there's a danger to, and this is the thing that I lean towards, that I try really hard not to do, but I know it's my inclination, is to kind of disengage from the situation. Like, this stresses me out, so I'm gonna just, I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, I've joked that I would just rather go curl up in the fetal position and then I'll come out when it's all over. But that isn't the healthy response, right? So, it's not just, I trust God and, like, don't care, right?
Yes.
I trust God and I do care. Like, I'm engaged in this process because I care about our community. We care about our community. We want for people to feel safe and happy and healthy in their home, right? So we care, but knowing that the way that we care is different than others, and all of that can be really hard. But I think a big encouragement would be to stay engaged in what's going on, but be more saturated in the Word than you are with the election results coming in. Yeah.
And I know it's hard. It is hard because, like you say, we have our beliefs and we believe strongly on certain issues, the life and death issues, even the abortion issue, whatever the case might be. Yeah. And it becomes something of, it's so important that I know, if we get candidates in there all across the states, I'm more talking about state level of this. So I'm praying for all the states.
Right.
And it's not just the presidential candidate, but it's all of this. And I'm just saying, God, I'm just praying that the best thing happens. Can you allow the best thing to happen? So He's got this all in His hands, but for what purpose? He's got His purposes.
Yeah.
I won't know those. All I can do is trust. You know what I mean? Paul has a good prayer. I pray that God, the source of hope, will fill you completely with joy and peace because you trust in Him. Then you will overflow with confident hope through the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
I think he's right on with that. I mean, it's only going to come. This joy and peace is only going to come when we trust.
Yeah.
And we got to trust in something solid. And people are looking for something solid, something steady, a real faith, true love. People are just looking for this.
Yeah.
And when we can demonstrate that, even in the midst of something so volatile as elections, it might be an opportunity to show people our faith. Regardless of who wins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. That word peace really just stood out to me when you read that, because I think that is the opposite of what it feels like in all of the surrounding stuff. I mean, even the ads that are coming on, like they are purposely trying to unsettle you, right? Like the ads that, especially the ones are against candidates, right? Remember back when there used to be candidates that did an ad that was like, "This is what I'm gonna do." Instead, it's those were the days.
That wasn't in the last 4 years that you've been voting.
No, okay,
sure so that was way before that.
Way back.
I'm gonna this. I'm gonna that. That is the funny thing.
But right now, they're trying to unsettle, like all of them try to unsettle you, and I think that what we have the opportunity to do because of our faith in Jesus and our trust in Jesus is have peace in the midst of a time where, you know, most people are not feeling peace. I mean, that the urgency that people on both sides are posting on social media,
I know, man.
Campaigning. I mean, the number of people I saw walking around door to door over the weekend.
That's the funny thing, though. Everybody's decided. It's like,
yeah, it's true. But they're trying.
Maybe they're trying to get voters to get out there and vote. I don't know, but I'm sure that's. As a matter of fact, I ran into some people that was the case.
Yeah. Do you have a plan to vote? Yeah.
I think, in the end, yesterday and today. When I say yesterday, I meant 2 days ago. I meant in the sermon.
Yeah.
And today, it's all about trusting God.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about just trusting God. And when we had our worship, morning, in God we trust. And every time we have a coin or a dollar bill in our hand, which isn't as much as it was 50 years ago because it's credit cards, but we just have to do it.
Yeah.
Just have to do it, man.
Yep.
Cool.
Do what we say to do. Do what the Bible says to do.
Go out and pray. Go out and vote.
Yeah.
Man, and then
just
pray again. And then just go outside.
Get some sunshine.
And be I like
it's
it.
Good.
I like
it's
it.
good for all of us.
Cool air and sunshine.
Yeah.
Could be a good combination.
Yep.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks.
For sure.
All right. See y'all.